Good evening. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Board of Finance for November 12th to order. Could you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Open the floor to delegations. Anybody like to address the board? Ms. Rack.
Good evening, Karen Rack, 27 Black Point Road. It's kind of like an echo. I wanted to speak concerning the special appropriation for $505,000+ for the Care Here Clinic. I don't think we need it. First of all, it's doubtful whether or not those savings will be recognized. Those savings are projections on every single employee utilizing that service, which I do not think will happen. I don't think it would be even close. But our employees, the employees have health care, they have physicians, and I think we do very well by them. I do not believe that we need to have an expenditure of this amount and go that one step further. I do also believe on a personal level that it's quite intrusive, where you have that closeness, that you might have some confidentiality issues, it being a service that's offered through the town, with the physician being chosen by the town. So on that respect, whether or not that would happen or not, but I have read a little bit about the concierge medicine, and it has been a problem in some instances where it's done in a municipality. So I would admonish you to reject it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the board? Hearing none, we'll move on. Approval of the minutes from the regular meeting, October 8th, 2014. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any changes, any comments? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Abstain.
That's 402. Reports. Mr. First Selectman.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
I drove up there, I saw on your road, you got some dirt marks on the new pavement. I don't know, we gotta talk about that,
Send the street sweeper now.
Yeah. Anyway, the Mostaway Road, Darrow's Ridge project, I believe, has been finished and paved. A couple of loose ends there, but that's mostly done. I did get word today from Dominion that their group has approved a couple of grants for us that we applied for. One is the $25,000 for the van for the animal control, and the other is $5,000 to support the light parade. We thank them for their generosity. The process must continue, go down to corporate and come back, so it'll be a few weeks, but the big part of the project is done. Thank you, Ms. Garazzi and company, for supporting all of us here. We have agreed on the police contract and signed off for a 3-year contract. We have an early retirement plan that we're negotiating with some of the members of the police force we have some interest from 3 or 4 potential early retirees there, and so we're working out the details on that. And I'm reading a transit orient development planning grant which needs to be put into the state. The state is allocating up to $250,000 for those planning grants, and so we have filled out one, and we'll be submitting it tomorrow or Friday at the latest to look about the potential of getting a train stop in Niantic and what's going on. We did pass, as you know, a couple of years ago with Ed Jutila's help, we got a feasibility study through the Department of Transportation and the legislature, and it was deemed that it is a feasible possibility. I guess a feasible possibility, that's like saying shrimp scampi, right? Shrimp. So they've determined that it was feasible and that we can move forward. Now we're looking to see what we might need in terms of environmental or potential construction costs. So that's moving forward there. And we are starting the capital improvement plan committee. Has met a couple of times. Mr. Harney has joined us on that, so we're beginning that process moving forward. The tennis court is complete. I don't know, Bill, are you here?
Yeah.
Did the paving get done?
Tomorrow.
The paving gets done tomorrow around the edge, and we will be finished. I think we'll have to come back and talk to you about lighting, but the rest of it seems okay. That's my report.
Progress on the boardwalk going as expected?
They had a little bit of a rough start, but they were able to overcome that. Now they're moving along, and they have 300 or 400 feet of it done. So they're going to continue to work through the winter, putting in the panels or the steel bulkhead, and we'll most likely now pour it in late spring. So, but it seems to be going okay.
Any other comments? Thank you. Ms. Finance Director.
Good evening. Your reports went out in the packages. I'll just point out that we received in the month of October our first installment of the Education Cost Share Grant of a little over $1.7 million. We received our grant for the state-owned property, came in a little over $90,000 more than we projected in the budget, and we also received the college and hospital grant from the state. I don't know if anyone has any questions on the reports.
Are there any areas of concern you'd like to tell us about?
Just on the, as I indicated, we're going to be watching our heating oil accounts. We're still struggling with our telephone accounts. It's primarily due to the number of cell phones that we have for various employees, but our Public Works Director has taken a very hard look at it, and we're going to be making some changes to reduce minutes, so to take the cost down. And then our unemployment this year is going to be one of those bad years. We're struggling. I already know we're going to be over budget on that. And it's because of a former employee that is no longer employed. He went out in the marketplace, had a job for a short period of time, and is now unemployed again. So he's on unemployment, and because of his quarters with us, it's going to be a high charge to us. So it depends on how long this individual is unemployed.
Okay. Back to the telephone account. Can you characterize how much we're over on that, or is it substantial? When do we think we're going to have that corrected?
I'm going to be meeting with Joe later this week to go over that, and so we'll have a better, more information for you at our next meeting.
All right, thanks. I failed open on the controls. You're supposed to be backing me up, dude.
Did I tell you I was lousy at that?
All right, thank you, Anna.
You indicated in your report that the heating oil that we got a contract. Are you still concerned that the heating oil is going to go over budget?
We're still going to be watching it, but we were happy to lock in at that price.
Okay.
Is that about $1 less than what was previously contracted for? $1 less per gallon? It's $2.89. Wasn't that closer to $4 less?
It was
when we budgeted that.
It was higher, yes.
So
we were budgeting based on what we were paying last year, plus a percentage increase.
So with that significant decrease, we should probably be okay.
Yeah.
I would just have one question with regard to that local vendor. Were multiple vendors considered before locking in with this particular one?
Our philosophy on that was to work with a local vendor.
There's many local vendors. So was this the only local vendor that was negotiated with?
I believe so, yes.
Thank you.
Who's that, the oil?
Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, with the concurrence of the board, I'd like to move on to B under new business, and then we'll come back to A, because I think A is gonna take a little longer. Anybody object to that?
Nope.
Okay, then we'll do that. B is reallocation of capital funds, East Lyme Community Center painting. Mr. First Selectman.
Thank you. Yep. This is just for the fact that the contractor needed, this is the contract having to do with the community center, the paint to the community center.
Right.
He came up short with a little bit of the rental item, and as a way to get out of it, we offered to split the cost with him on that. He did some extras around that building. Bill is here, he can probably give you a little more detail on it, but that's basically what this comes to, as a compromise settlement, and $742.
Uh-oh.
Well, before we start discussion, could we have a motion and then we'll discuss?
I move to approve the reallocation of $742 in account 01-70-724-700-403, Town CIP, to painting the East Lyme Community Center exterior from as follows: $207 from the sprinkler systems project and $535 from the East Lyme Community Center parking fixtures project.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Questions, comments from the board? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 6-0.
All right, just as a note before you get into the next item, the oil that you had questioned, this is pretty much the largest supplier in town, and a lot of the local smaller companies fill from him there. So there's not a lot of more local companies, and this vendor's been doing it for quite some time.
Well, that may be the concern that I have, is, the length of tenure of this particular vendor.
Right,
And
which
the
is-
level of comfort in doing business with the town. So I always think it's prudent to get multiple bids on a yearly basis, just to make sure
Right.
that we're not getting too comfortable.
Right, this is a fairly large taxpayer too, so we're trying to take that into consideration, and he did come down with a price, so as part of it, so, it's kind of a sticky situation. But that's what Joe is doing, and Joe has taken that over, so you'll see now that the door is open, a better bidding process for this. This has been a long time, similar to what I had to do with the insurance way back when. So, just a little bit of background on that.
Okay, moving on to A, special appropriations up to $505,717 for Care Here Clinic. Mr. First Selectman.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay with the board, I would like to call Jessica Ricks, who is a member of Care Here, which is the company that we're talking to about this. Oh, and I'm dialing the wrong number, that's what my problem is. I feel like I'm phoning a friend. Hi, Jess.
I'd do the
It's
50/50.
Paul Formica. I'm going to put you on speakerphone, and I'll ask you to introduce yourself for the board. You're in a Board of Finance meeting that's being taped and is shown live. Okay? All right. Are you there?
Good evening, everyone. Hello, this is Jessica Ricks from Care Here. I'm the account manager. How are you all?
Hi, Jessica.
Lou?
Jess does some extensive traveling with the company and has been out here and made a presentation to the Board of Selectmen. And I've asked her to kind of join the call, and if it's okay to lend her expertise, if you may have questions that are beyond the scope that Anna and I are talking about. I started with this process through our healthcare broker back in January. And I traveled to Nashville and toured the Care Here corporate offices to better understand the model. And we spent an afternoon in presentations and some more time touring different facilities that operate in and around the Nashville area, some by municipalities, some by large corporate businesses. But the key that I'm hoping that you'll all remember is that the town is a self-insured municipality. We pay the claims, and our costs, our premiums that we charge to our employees is a function of those claims. So we have Anthem for many years now. We have Aetna that are managing those claims, but what we're proposing to you is a different model this evening, and is based more on health care, not on managing sick care, and it's also an opportunity to reduce those claims. And if we reduce the money that we pay from our health insurance fund, we will in essence down the road be reducing the premiums that we will have to charge our employees, and in fact reducing our cost for health care, which has been a volatile industry for many years, as you know. We have been working hard over the last 4 years in a variety of ways to manage our healthcare costs. We've averaged, around 2% increase over the last 4 or 5 years with regard to our healthcare, because we've introduced wellness programs. We've introduced HSAs, which I believe have made our employees smarter and savvier and healthier consumers of healthcare. And I think that's the direction that we're going. So when I was introduced to Care Here, the model is very simple. If we can provide some of the service, not all of the service, we're not looking to replace Aetna. We're not looking to replace all of the doctors or specialists or the hospitals in the area. We're looking to kind of manage the low-hanging fruit, a segment of our healthcare providing that we can, one, reduce in costs by introducing some efficiency, and two, by introducing the opportunity for each of our employees, should they desire, to work with a specific coach along the way and manage their health and manage their health care. And I'll give you an example that I've been using. I went and got a physical last year, and my appointment was at 3:15. By the time I got in the doctor's office, it was 3:55. I then went through all of the different stations that are in and throughout the office, and then at the end, the doctor came in for a couple of minutes and did what he did, and then we left. And the bill was in the neighborhood of $380 for all of that, the office fees and the lab fees and the doctor's fees and et cetera. The model that we're talking about providing this evening to you makes it a little more consumer friendly, in that we have a clinic that's operated by Care Here, that's overseen by the town, and we have a location that is set up as a 2-room clinic. There are 3 20-minute appointments that are made per hour, so you get 20 minutes with the doctor. The doctors are chosen from a local pool of doctors. Some may be semi-retired, some may be working in different capacities, some may have their own primary care business, but may want to supplement that because the business environment is not really what it should be. But they are all certified doctors, and they will be chosen through the help of Care Here and the town. And it's just going to be an optional opportunity for our employees. They will come in there, there's no waiting, the appointment is at 9 o'clock, 9:20 or 9:40, so there's very limited chairs in a waiting room, there's no need for that. They come in and you get 20 minutes with a doctor, do your thing. We're hoping that there's a health risk assessment that all of the employees will take to kind of get a picture of where their health is at the particular time. And then a plan is to determine to go forward. So let's say Formika is showing some high sugar and has the potential to be diabetic in 2 years. That by seeing the doctor and having the healthcare coach, we'll be able to manage through diet or whatever my potential problems down the road, thereby reducing the effective cost. So it's cost avoidance in one section, where we're monitoring folks' health that choose to be monitored. We're not going to go out and be the health police, but people that choose to participate and be monitored in this, they'll do it, because we all know that we spend 80% of our health care claim dollars on 20% of the population who is the most ill. So if we can just reduce that 20% down to 19, or 18, there'll be significant savings in our health care. So that's what I mean by focusing on health care and not sick care. The other thing is by providing 3 20-minute appointments per hour, and the hours of operation are determined to be based on need. It might be 8 hours a week to begin, or 12 hours as we grow, 16 hours, but it's handled on a business model. It's, for example, if we paid the doctors $150 an hour, just for the sake of numbers, each appointment would cost $50. So we also have the opportunity to provide, through Care Here and their vast network of operations, blood tests and about 60 or 65% of generic prescription drugs that may be available to cover the things that we're looking to manage, as I said, the low-hanging fruit. So those would be included, and there would not be a copay charge to the employees. There would not be any cost charge to the employees. And let's just say, for example, Formika went, had a 20-minute appointment with a doctor. He got a small prescription and had a blood test. The cost of that visit might be in the $75 range. So the cost efficiency then would be the $75 that we're paying out of our claim dollars for this service, instead of the $380 in the example that I used previous. So that's where a lot of the savings are coming from. So it's cost avoidance on the health care model of it, and it's cost efficiency on the service provider model. And I think in your packet you received a copy of some of the charts that we have anticipated. Jessica, I might let her jump in here in a second, can go over some of those charts and how those dollars were figured in terms of savings. But we're looking at significant savings. And I want you to understand that we are paying several $100,000 or $700,000 anticipated next year. We're going to pay that out of the healthcare fund to manage our claims, to pay for our claims. The model that we're presenting to you looks to save $226,000 off that number. So the savings is what we don't pay from our health care fund, because we are self-insured. It's not that some other company, some other fund is going to pay it and bill it. We are self-insured. And Ann and I, over the last few years, have worked hard to grow that fund over time, using these variety of different models between wellness and HSAs, as I spoke about earlier. But the opportunities are dwindling, and it's going to be more and more difficult for us to sit by the wayside and have what health models are kind of thrown our way as a municipality. The Affordable Care Act is going to introduce some challenges, especially in terms of the luxury tax, which hopefully will be changed by the time it gets there. But this model is a benefit not only to our healthcare fund and our cash accumulation and our cash efficiency, but to the employees, in that they don't have to use a copay or a cost share, a copay on this item. Now, they still have Aetna, and they want to go to a specialist or they want to go to their primary care, they're welcome to do it. And a lot of these numbers are based on an initial smaller percent use, and eventually, gradually, we will see up to a particular time, but a particular amount of use. But I think that this is a brand-new concept, which scares some people in New England. I think we're the first in the state of Connecticut, but there are many other states throughout the country that are using this with success, municipalities that are using it. I talked to the human resource guy from the city in the town in Nashville. What was that town, Jess? Yeah, the one that we toured. Anyway, he spoke very highly of it. The employees have all embraced it, and it's worked very well for the municipality. So why don't I let Jess kind of fill that out in case I misspoke, but do you mind doing that, Jess?
Could Jessica
Yeah, sure.
repeat
Well,
her
first,
position?
I think you did a beautiful job. I don't know if I could have done a better job myself anyway. I feel like you really encompass, the services that we offer and the benefits that our employer groups realize from putting these clinics in place. We do really view it as kind of a win-win-win. The employers certainly save as a cost containment solution, specifically the groups that are self-funded. Employees definitely save dollars on office visits, lab work, pharmaceuticals that are dispensed in the clinic, and time, because our appointments are booked same day and there's no double booking or triple booking, so there's no wait. And the providers that we recruit from the local community absolutely love it because they have a full 20 minutes with their patient. They're removed from the whole claims processing and fee-for-service world that we know so well in the marketplace. And they really get to practice medicine like they went to school for. So we've found these clinics to be incredibly successful. We have 180 of them now throughout the country. The majority of our business is with the public sector. We do a lot of cities, counties, school districts. We have one of the first state governments, Montana, to put a clinic in for their employees throughout their state. So I hope you all are excited and get excited about this as a solution for you all too. And I am here to answer any questions that you have as it relates to the services themselves or the financial proposal that you all have in front of you.
I think what we ought to do maybe, and I don't know if you have any initial questions that you may want to answer with regard to the general concept, or do you want me to just go directly into the estimated clinic expenses on the charts that we've given you? Which would you prefer, sir?
I have some questions. Do you guys have questions?
Before we get into questions and discussion, then why don't we do it like normal, have the motion, and then we'll do questions and discussion. So do I have a motion? Okay, I'll move it. Move to approve a special appropriation of up to the amount of $505,717 from the Healthcare Insurance Fund for 1 year of Care Hair Clinic operations. This is to include operations, supplies, rent, utilities, and facility build-out. Do I have a second?
I'll second to open it up.
Motion made and seconded? Now, why don't you,
Somebody just texted me and said the sound is not coming through, so I think a lot of that may be we have to be closer to the microphone with these things. So 3 or 4 inches is away, and I'll ask, I don't know who texted me because I just have the number, but if you text me again and let me know whether that's working or not, we will see if we can make sure the sound works.
questions from the board?
Before we get into the specifics of the plan, I do have some general questions with regard to the business entity. So I'm very happy that you've joined us, Jessica. This is Camille Alberti. My first question for you would be, how long has Care Here been in business?
Sure. We are celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year in January, so very soon it'll be 11 years in 2015 in January.
And are you a public or a private concern?
Private.
Jessica's role with the company again? I couldn't hear in the beginning.
I'm a national key account manager for Care Here, so I'm responsible for business development.
I can't understand.
National account manager.
Account manager. Thanks.
So you mentioned that you have 180 clinics throughout the country?
That's correct.
And how many participants would you say that are enrolled in those clinics?
There's about 100,000 employee lives and about 250,000 total members, total belly button.
And what is the makeup of your clients? Municipal, public, private companies?
Yes. Currently, about 70% of our total makeup is in the public sector, cities, counties, school districts, public works, state government. The other 30% is in the private sector and spanned across many different industries.
I'm told our sound is back after doing whatever adjustments we made, so.
And did I hear you say that, or Mr. Famika say that there are currently no clients of yours in the state of Connecticut?
That is correct. Yeah, we have. We're open now in 25 different states. We open a new state pretty regularly, but right now none in Connecticut.
Any in the Northeast?
The furthest north, not northeast, would be Maryland and PA. We have clinics.
Okay. Did you, so those are all the questions I have with regard to your entity. So the rest of my questions have to deal with the plan itself, but I'll give somebody else a chance to step in.
One general question. How did we become acquainted with this organization? Did we seek them out? Did we have a problem statement, if you will, that got us here? How were we acquainted?
We sought them out again through our broker. This was an idea that came, whether it came through a seminar, whether it came through something that Sonia had seen at some point in time. But it really came as a result of the hard work that Anna and I have tried to do with regard to managing our healthcare costs, and we're looking for any possible way to do it. So certainly I wasn't sure about this, just as you're not sure about this. And so I traveled down to Nashville with Sonia and spent a day in the Care Here corporate offices, and then traveled about Nashville a bit, did some tours on a couple of different clinics. One was a small 500 square foot clinic, the other was about a 1,200 square foot clinic, a little bigger, more in line with the size that we're proposing. And I did some investigation and went back and forth, and took a number of months to try to understand this concept. And the fact that we are the first in Connecticut, I think, is simply going to be just that we will be the first of many that will be in Connecticut. Because as I talk to my colleagues at COG and the self-insured municipalities around, they're expressing a lot of interest in doing this, because everybody is looking to try to save money, and that's kind of where it came. And Care Here is the leader in this type of on-site clinic.
How many of the surrounding towns are self-insured or actually have, a health program that's through an insurance company?
Well, I think just for example, in similar sizes, I believe Waterford is self-insured. Saybrook would be, they are fully insured. Now, Jessica may tell you or will tell you that there are programs that come in with that are fully insured programs, and it's not just exclusively for self-insured, but I think the savings are not quite as great. I didn't go check, but I mean, people in Stonington have expressed interest, and a lot of folks around have talked to us about it.
So for the record, it might seem self-evident, but could we just define what we mean by self-insured? Because I think I understand it, but we don't. So if we have, let me see if I understand it, and then you can help me. If I'm an employee of the town and I have health insurance, and I unfortunately get a brain tumor and I need $1 million worth of medical care, that doesn't get paid out from an insurance company, right? The town of East Lyme pays my medical bill. Is that correct?
You're half correct.
Okay.
We are self-insured up to a reinsurance value, which is generally around $125,000. So we have to protect ourselves against that very opportunity that may arise. So most of the people that we insure and pay claims for don't have those kind of catastrophic charges or serious illnesses. So we reinsure for everything above $125,000. So we pay a separate premium. So it's like a high deductible plan, if you will.
Okay.
We get a very good price on it, but it doesn't. We pay the first $125,000.
Is that annually, or that's over the
Annually.
life of a?
I think it's annually. I don't know, what is the 125? It's on a per year claim basis, yeah, so it's a premium per year. And so we have, every once in a while, we have a few that reach that threshold. But for the most part, most people don't reach that 125,000. So part of what you approve in healthcare monies, it's not the fund, this is a different fund. This money is not coming out of the general fund. This is coming out of the healthcare dollar fund. That we have set aside and we're managing on a different level. Anna manages that. So she gets the bill from Aetna or whatever. She can tell you specifically how those claims are paid, but they're paid out of that fund, and our insurer is the one who kind of manages it, and they get a fee per person to manage the fund. Just as in this particular model, it's based on Care Here getting paid a fee per employee to manage the clinic. And, with those fees and with those costs and with the costs that I think Bill gave you some potential opportunities, we thought about putting an addition on a particular building for this clinic in the beginning, but then kind of came back and said, look, let's just make sure this works. So this is an opportunity for a rental, a year-by-year rental, so that we can't get hurt that much in the event it doesn't work. But, I'm fully confident that this is going to work. So that money will come out of that pot of money. Nothing's coming out of the general fund dollars. So
Does the town pay to outfit the office?
there's a $35,000 fee that pays for the equipment. It's kind of like buying a franchise. You have particular equipment that you would use, and the clinic would need to operate based on their experience. And it's $35,000, and then the clinic that we're looking at, the particular area, you'll see some of the costs that we would have to use is upfront painting and papering and a little bit of cleanup, and that would come out of the healthcare money too.
Why does the town pay for that? I don't understand. If I came into the town to do business, wouldn't I have to set up my own infrastructure and then do business with the town? I don't understand why the town would pay for this.
Because Care Here is not doing that business. They are managing that business. We are hiring them as an operator of the business. We will own the profits, and the profits are what's going to come off our healthcare fund, and it's going to save us money. So it's not like they're leasing a building and going to do this clinic and get the profits for Care Here. Care Here is managing the clinics because that's their expertise. And that we will be reaping the savings by not paying out as much from our healthcare fund as we would if we weren't using this.
Is the doctor and the nurse an employee of Care Here or the town?
Yes? You there, Jeff?
The docs and